We're live. Welcome back to Linux Weekly Daily Wednesdays, our midweek break to talk about Linux, open source, and everything that we found interesting going on in that particular world. I am Vince Stone. That is Jill Bryant, and over there is one Pedro Mateus. And hey, everybody at home, joining us live for our fun little adventure. Before we get started, Jill?
Yes.
You have like 16 paragraphs.
No, it's not that long. But I actually had a wonderful time on Jupiter Broadcasting's Linux Unplugged yesterday with Chris Fisher, and a great conversation after the show with Brent Gervais, who does one of my favorite new shows on the network called Brunch with Brent, where he interviews lots of podcasters and people in the industry. So that's going to be cool. And he may be interviewing me at some point. So.
Okay.
Pedro, you didn't write anything, so you don't get to talk. Let's see. What do I have? Oh, news. Twitch. We're going to, if you listen to the Saturday show, you're like, shut up, get done with it. We're going to be focusing everything live-wise that we're going to be doing live on Twitch. So if you're watching us on YouTube Live, that's where we're going to be next week. But the produced version, if you're watching after the fact podcast, none of that's going to change. So just a heads up. And I also want to say good guy Amazon, man, because I ordered a slab, a big piece of dead cow to put on my glass desk, for a little bit of padding. Turns out glass, not real flexible.
Yeah.
Well, it is, but it only does it once. And had a scratch on it. I was like, good on you, Amazon, because I didn't even call them up, man. I just got on chat. I'm like, this thing's got a scratch. Don't worry. Another one's in the mail. Like, all right, fine. Do I need to send it back? No, keep it. So I'm going to have like 2 pieces of dead cow.
Well, that's cool. You'll have one you can use some on another desk. Maybe your other desk in your other room.
Nah. I'm just going to like put it up on a wall. Confuse people.
There you go. Here's my mouse pad.
Yes.
No.
I hunted a cow. The one singular cow.
Nope. I hunted a desk mat, man. That was feral.
Yeah.
Pedro, did you get any new toys, man?
I did get an email from Soliver saying, oh yeah, those size 9 boots you wanted, another 2 to 4 weeks. So it's like, 2 to 4 weeks. Well, that means I get to put together a little bit of a project idea of mine that I've had for a while, which is to build the most powerful gaming PC on the smallest possible budget.
Are you recording any of this?
Not yet. I plan on doing video once it's done, and I have everything. So thus far, I have processor, RAM, and motherboard. Power supply should be coming in tomorrow, along with the case, I hope. We'll see. As I carefully maneuver it over there.
Yeah, you at home. I was right there with you. You didn't drop it, so boo.
No.
Pretty cool, man. All right, let's rock and roll with this. Everyone's favorite arch distribution, Manjaro. I'm just trolling a little bit. But hey, they're going from a hobby project to a professional project. And some people are not happy with this. Most people are like, oh, that's cool. And, it's like, it's quite popular Linux distribution. You know it, you love it. It's been around since, 2011. But they got a little announcement and they're like, yo, man, we're going to try to have a go with this and turn it into a real company. And I think that's neat personally, man.
Yeah.
Jill, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, they'd already taken many of their first steps to being professional project by partnering with SoftMaker of FreeOffice, which we talked about in July. And that was a very significant move. So this actually really makes sense. And I think it's really nice that Manjaro is being listed at the Linux Foundation's Community Bridge as a fiscal host as well as Open Collective. So that's a good way for them to get revenue and for it to be transparent. So that's really, really awesome.
Jill, did you not get the memo? If you try to make a profit or even break even at something on Linux, then half the internet hates you.
Yeah. Yes. 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 Yeah, and that kind of happened actually with the whole debacle with FreeOffice, them partnering with SoftMaker. Everyone was thinking that they were getting revenue from SoftMaker.
They were like, we were just trying to help them out.
Yeah.
No money exchanged hands.
It was no money. Yeah.
And I'm kind of throwing back to something I saw on R Linux on the Reddits, because it's like, why are they forming an LLC? This is shifty. They should be doing a nonprofit. Cupcakes. Let me tell you a little bit of a story here. You can't do a nonprofit until, I'm not saying they are, but that comment got a lot of traction. You can't do that until you get your articles of incorporation. So you have to form an LLC before you can do a 501c3, before you get that status. That's just a real thing. Then you can do your 1023 with the IRS. And even the IRS, you're like, why aren't you a nonprofit? We're getting to that. Everything we do at LGZ is run like a nonprofit, right up to the point of like, first-time applicants expect to do 100 hours. This is what the IRS estimates for your first-time application with the paperwork and all that. And I'm like, okay, nope. But that's why they're LLC. You have to incorporate if you're starting a business. That way, if somebody's going to be suing you, they only get your stuff, and they're suing the company, and they happen to win. We're saying win-win here. They only get the company stuff. That's a smart move. There's nothing wrong with that. I wish them the best of luck. Pedro, do you have any deep-seated resentment towards Manjaro?
Not really.
All right.
They took the Arch stuff and they made it so that people can't really gloat if they manage to get it installed, because it's just as easy to install as most other distros out there. So as far as I'm concerned, they're really good in my book.
I think Arch is awesome, and Arch has got an awesome... The Arch wiki by itself is like good on that.
Yeah,
and
it's amazing.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Just that
And
is it.
I'm also looking forward to them. They're trying to kind of be canonical in a way with this. So, the baby steps, but
so the CEO is going to appropriate funds from one of the official spins to go to space.
Yeah.
Good point, Pedro.
Nice, man.
No, they're definitely not rich.
Have something set up that is more user-friendly. That's going to be more company as to a hobby project. There's differences between those. I mean, Canonical's done a lot of great work in that aspect of like, hey, I want to learn. Here's a copy of Ubuntu.
Yep.
Yeah, that's usually before they just give them that thumb drive. Stick that in, play with it. You'll figure it out. And you can move on to bigger and better things afterwards. So maybe this will be the nice, happy, friendly Arch version, which I want it to become the easiest distribution to set up and run, bleeding edge and all, just to make those people angry.
Yes.
The one's like, but I copied and pasted from the wiki very well. And all right, fine. Just pop it in, install it. Hey, man, check this out.
Ooh, so
Hell.
This is amazing. So Microsoft invited free software advocate Richard Stallman to speak to its employees at Microsoft Research this week. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. We never thought this would happen. But what was really neat is I love the fact that Stallman still did his usual rant about the ills of proprietary, even at the Microsoft campus. So he was still able to do his usual talk about why free software and open source is better. And one of the things that was interesting is during his talk, Stallman included a wish list for Microsoft, which includes make it easier to work around secure boot and wanting GitHub to push users to better software license hygiene. And,
see that second one. Actually, both of those are really sane.
Yes, they are. They're
especially coming from the Stallman.
Yeah.
This honestly didn't blow me away quite as hard as it blew away the internet. I'm like, this dude makes his living by giving speechy rants. A mixture of both. This is what he does, man. But You know, they said it was mostly standard talk, though, man. He's like, hey, man,
Yeah.
GPL, GNU versus Linux. And like, let's not address that holy war. But what I really like,
Yeah.
there's not a really good picture of it, but the little new that he had on top of his laptop.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it looks so smelly.
Oh, I actually have one of those behind me, a stuffed
Richard,
one.
give that thing a bath.
Yeah, he's been carrying that around for years.
And if you're wondering about it, it's like, has he changed his stance on Microsoft? Nay, he hasn't. There's a beautiful, go check in the show notes or just go to his web zone. He has a page dedicated to like, why Microsoft bad, which is mostly accurate. And hey, man, like him or not, he's ours, man. He's the open source world's resident conspiracy theorist. And
yes.
like most conspiracy theorists, they're sometimes right. And hey, man, that's not a
And
bad
when it
thing.
comes to like the software advocacy that he's trying to pull, he may be a bit of a zealot in how far he's willing to go, but practice what you preach, right? And he does.
Yeah, and he does.
He actually practices what he preaches. So he, to the point where people asked, it's like, so is there a video of the talk that he gave? And it's like, oh, he requested that no videos be hosted in any platform that has proprietary JavaScript. So no video as of yet.
One of the things with Stallman, I think everyone, you can agree with him up till you get to like that. And you're like, come on. Really? we were doing so good, man. Then you like,
It's like you almost did it.
Nah.
Almost.
And then it reminds you, and he pulls out his flaming katanas. Then it's all nasty business after that. Pinephone 64 is shipping. Is it for real? It's going to be a real thing, Pedro.
It's not shipping yet. It's real. It's a real boy. And you can pre-order one right now. But they won't start shipping until later in the year. And the Pine 64 folks had a bit of an article where they're doing some housekeeping and addressing some things, not just with the Pinephone, but also with the Pinebook Pro. And they changed the way that like the little Pine key on the laptop and how that works with turning off the camera, basically enabling the privacy stuff, turning off camera, microphone, and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. And I can, looking at the picture that they have, that one right there, of the keyboard, I can already tell you, I hate where that power button is located. But the phone itself, they say that it is now on pre-order with actual hardware coming out late 2019, early 2020. They're also expecting to have something resembling a final model at the end of 2020, which it's that particular time frame overlaps very much with the next story. But do you guys have anything to add to the Pinephone specifically?
No, man, I've already sold my soul to the androids. So.
Yeah.
Aw. I actually really want to try it, so I'm thinking of ordering one.
Yeah, Foxy brought up in the comments in the show notes, which you could totally get access to. Stick around. We'll tell you how. He left a comment saying, that phone looks suspiciously like his Firefox Flame. And it's
yes.
like, okay, let's look up the Firefox phones. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it does.
It sure does.
Hey, man,
I have one of those as well.
Yeah.
Everybody's taking a crack at this, and we all want this. 100%.
Yes. Oh,
But
yes.
barring a time machine, even Microsoft tried to get into the mobile market with that type of money behind it. And Margaret's like,
and
no,
Intel on the hardware side.
Then we had Sailfish, and they're like, nah. So,
Yeah.
Hey, man, feel free to pick it up. It'll be an awesome collector's item. Kind of like Librem 5s, which are now shipping.
Yes.
Yes.
Those are, well,
Ish.
not really. They are shipping something, but they're splitting up. This post that they made is about splitting up the Librem 5s into different batches. Basically, each one is an iteration on the previous one. And this first one starts on September 24th. and ends on October 22nd. And then there's the next one, which will be like the end of October to the end of November-ish, right around that time. And so on and so forth. And you can see that the last two batches for what is technically the development kit will show up at Q2 and Q4 2020. And, well, a lot of people weren't happy about this. I didn't actually follow the, I don't know,
Yeah.
there was a thread on Reddit that people weren't terribly happy about this. I don't know why, honestly. I just read this and it's like, oh, okay, so they're splitting it up in batches. That's fine? What's the issue?
They're getting something out the door. I don't know if it's necessarily the hardware people were expecting, and like reading through some of the comments I've seen, it's like, hey man, the OS isn't ready, the apps aren't ready, and well, obviously the hardware's not completely baked yet.
Yes, no. But then again, they unless I'm mistaken here, and we've been covering like the Librem development for a while, but they always did say that the first few iterations would be just prototype boards, basically, for people to get their hands on and start to develop something from it. And then it's
kind of a case of people wanting a finished product.
Yeah, that is most definitely it, because like you said earlier, everyone kind of wants something like this to be the thing, and having one like the Librem 5 or the Pine 64, where it's all open source and open hardware and open everything else, it does sound appealing. So probably stems from a little bit of that.
Yeah, well, I think it is really good that Purism is being so transparent regarding their Librem 5 release cycle. That's awesome, so that people that were complaining know exactly what's going to happen, and what quarter the development on the phone is going to be at. And the Pinephone prototype, of course, seems to be a much more finished product that we just talked about. So that one is definitely ahead.
It looks like a phone.
Yeah, it looks like a phone. And like you said, Pedro, Librem has always said that they'd be releasing a prototype first. So that was a known entity.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay, you have a wall of text about challenging KDE.
Well, it's more KDE taking in new challenges, because clearly their desktop environment works so well that they can afford the luxury to look at, supporting Wayland, for instance. Well, to be fair, at this point, they should have that down pat, but they don't. So that is very much one of the challenges that they're going to be tackling with the new versions of KDE. Now, they do in like batches of 3, and the previous 3 that they set out to do, they feel like they've reached the point where they say that, yes, we've accomplished these goals, so now let's find another 3. And Wayland is one of them, like I mentioned. There's also consistency, which is possibly the one thing I will actually praise GNOME 3 and the GNOME team for actually getting everything to look like all the GNOME apps look like they're GNOME apps, and they fit in rather well with the GNOME desktop environment. KDE is, on the other hand, not really. So they're going to be changing that, and the application availability, because KDE as itself, it provides a framework that a bunch of applications can use. And so there's a bunch of applications out there that are not in one central repository. In fact, even the little desktop widgets that you can get, most of those are on GitHub and not on the easily accessible right-click from the desktop to add a new widget to the plasmids. Plasmoid? Plasmids are from BioShock. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're working on getting a central hub with all of the KDE applications and plasmoids and everything else in one place. Took them long enough.
Yeah, they were seeing all that great development going on in GNOME, and understanding they need to unify their desktop more, even with hamburger menus that was mentioned in the article. Yeah,
yeah, that's a part of the consistency.
Yeah.
I, for one, look forward to the same people praising this, complaining about things being oversimplified or too centralized by this time next year.
I don't think anyone will complain that
Pedro, I would like to introduce you to the internet, sweetheart.
The internet will complain about a lot of things, but like add-ons that you can find for a specific application, I think everyone agrees that having them in one place is usually a good idea.
No, man. You see, I liked using the applications back in the day when they were underground.
Yes.
Applicational hipster.
Exactly. Trust me. They'll be out there. Dell's got some new hotness for us.
They do. And, well, it's, at least for the US website, it's really easy to find. You just go to dell.com/Linux. Boom. You got yourself their XPSs and Precisions and the Precision desktops. Basically, you can find yourself a Dell very professional looking machine, typical Optiplex stuff,
Yes.
or the XPS, which is, in my opinion, the prettiest laptop out there, for, well, the usual Dell price. So and it comes with Linux, obviously. So
kinda, you have to go buy Windows 10 Pro, Red Hat, Enterprise 7.5. And more.
And then you can, there we go. 5-year license.
Which will subtract 170 wet, stinky American caches. With a big warning.
Yeah, you're not paying for the license.
Nice.
Oh, but we won't get the Office 30-day trial. Oh, man. Dang it.
I'm okay with that. I'm really okay with that. But yeah, they've unified it, at least for the US customers. You can find everything. I did look for something similar on the Dell UK website. No such luck.
Yeah, I went through it and I kind of stuck something together that basically works for just a little over 400 wet sticky caches, and that's definitely a thing. I would say this, and this is with like a Precision 3430, the small form factor workstation. Maybe, just maybe Dell, make some graphic options that aren't like Pro WXs and Quadros. Like maybe I wanted to, hey man, I can upgrade the Dells that the 2 Dells that we have that these 2 boxes are running on.
You can, if
but you have to customize it. Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to be careful.
Contact them sometimes.
Yeah, you just have to be careful because some of the 7010s only support 50-watt graphics cards, and some support 75-watt graphics cards. So that's the one thing you need to be careful about.
You see, that's the whole point of buying this is getting the warranty and not adding stuff in later.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry. If you're happy with the Intel integrated graphics, that's included in the price. But if you wanted to get something a little bit better, the best they can do for you, the cheapest option is the Radeon Pro WX 2100, which is like, why does that exist card?
It's a 750. It's even weaker than a 750.
It's a 2 gig card too. But then again, they have a 2 gigabyte Quadro, which is even more head turning of like, why? I almost want one. I'll put it in like a terrarium.
Yeah, I had to look at those because secondhand, those go for really cheap. So it's like, okay, so what's the performance on this? Oh, it's worse than a GTX 750.
Well, most of those workstations are only using a 400-watt power supply. Now, granted, it's a Dell 400-watt, which is better than average, but still, that's what most of their Xeon workstations are using.
The small form factor ones at work, anyway, are 240 watts.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and I've seen the 330s too.
But then again, at the end of the day, for a tower under $400 with a warranty, that's a 3-year warranty. That's not bad. They've made it semi-easy to find. I only had to go 3 layers deep from the page, Dell. Then scroll down, then select another drop-down menu. Then I could get the Linux operating system option. So progress.
Yeah.
Pedro, I love wallpapers.
Oh.
Do you now?
All the tech
Tell, Mr. High Contrast Theme.
Dude, my favorite thing, man, is like just the void blackness of nothing. That's the best wallpaper in the world. Can I get a lot of that? Like rotating?
Yeah, so this is a Google Trend wallpaper, which is a Python and shell script to set the wallpaper to a word cloud of the most trending Google searches. And to me, visually, this is
That could be dangerous. I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
Oh yeah.
Yes. To me, it's just too busy for me. But I do like
It's
do like
too
with
busy
the
for you, Joe. Have you looked behind you?
Okay.
Yeah,
Fair
I got
enough.
you, audience. Everybody was like, he's got a point.
Oh, but I like my desktop to be clean and minimal. But what is cool is that this project was inspired by Process Wallpaper, which is also a desktop wallpaper word cloud, but instead shows the words of the most resource-hungry processes and apps. And I have used that one before. It's actually quite fun. And you can even send up a cron job with it to refresh the desktop every hour or half hour, whatever time you'd like. And I was thinking about this. This might be kind of fun. If we use it for a week, well, it might actually help us for our next playthrough of Google Feud. Because it would show the most trending Google searches and maybe one of our questions.
Oh, cheating. I get you.
Yeah, cheating.
Yeah, exactly. So then also when we're in the game of Google Feud, you could set up a cron job to refresh it, every few seconds.
I mean, it's great, man, because Jill's trying to type real fast to cheat using her mobile phone. Not let anyone see. And I'm like, oh, man. Dude, that's something I don't know. I might install that just to be like,
Yeah.
Okay.
I know
It is
myself,
fun.
and I know if I installed that, I'd go like, oh, what's this about, I don't know. Wow, I'm looking at it and none of those words interest me. It's like, oh, Penn State football. Uh-huh. Liverpool versus Arsenal. Uh-huh.
We need to science this. You need to surprise install it on Nori's laptop.
She's running
there we
Windows
go.
on her laptop.
Nori, you're dead to me.
Oh.
I specifically told her I can install Windows on that laptop for you, but you're going to have to basically figure it out yourself.
Mhm.
She didn't.
And then she looked at you. She's like, "Isn't that what you do for a living?"
There may have been some of that brought up, yes.
Sticking up for you too. Okay. I saw this and I was like, maybe this is something you typically don't think about, is the temperature from your NVMe drives, multiple ones or your singular, that are floating around in your system, more likely your laptop. And that's not something you're typically going to pull up with like GNOME Disk Utility or anything like that. So turns out it's really easy to install. Even on Debian 10, there's a tool called NVMe CLI, which
Nice.
you can probe. It'll get all of your drives, and you can pull your smart lock data out, and it will tell you the things like your current temperatures, your percent used, how much is left in your available space threshold, which is kind of reserved for like once that gets down to 100, well, actually up to 100%, you are dead. Don't use that drive anymore unless you're brave. Give it to your friend.
Give it to someone. Just get it away from you.
Yeah, I was really good on you, Samsung, with your Evo bad self. Is literally the drive that has the drive label of Scratch. Guess what I use it for? It's an NVMe drive. It is the NVMe drive for all audio and video editing that we do. That's like,
Nice.
yeah, I've used like 5% out of 100 of my nope space.
Mhm.
But bring it. Which I know tomorrow's just going to die on me now that I've said that.
Oh yeah, you've been praising it now, so now it's dead.
Yeah.
But yeah, one thing that I thought was interesting about NVMe was that apparently the flash itself, it needs to get up to a certain temperature, like 30, 40 Celsius, to be happy. The controller, on the other hand, starts to throttle if it goes anywhere north of 30. So...
So you're just saying I just need to water cool the front on?
Yeah, you just need to find which of those
Little
chips is the
teeny
controller.
tiny, right?
Put a little, put one of those tower coolers for the Raspberry Pi on it.
Yeah, there you go. A little baby one. That'd be so
Thing,
cute.
man. Also, I would say a little pro tip: those heat spreaders that came with your motherboard, take them off; it'll run cooler.
Oh,
No, yeah.
Get rid of the shrouds like immediately.
Yeah. And if your argument is, but then it won't look, don't worry, there's no help for you anyway. So just keep doing what you're doing, buddy.
Yeah. Well, what's really nice also is the smart monitoring tools, which allow you to check temps on hard drives. It said in the article that some drives work, some NVMEs work with this, and some don't. So I still need to try it. I wanted to try it on I've got an NVMe PCI Express card in one of my render boxes. So I'm gonna try the SmartMon tools and see if that works with it. I never tried.
I know Smart didn't pick up on this Western Digital NVMe Black when I got it. I haven't tried for the past couple of versions, but maybe it does now.
Yeah.
I've never had any luck with Smart.
Yeah, Smart lies to you a lot.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah.
Smart for SSDs. A lot of people are using, I've seen this drug out in our Discord. It's like, never trust Smart for SSDs. I'm not saying it's accurate, but it gives you a pretty decent idea what you're walking into.
Yeah.
Unlike, spinning disk, just whatever, man.
Like the amount of reserved cells that even on a SATA SSD that you've used up. I have an SSD that's in the red now.
There's also an issue with that is different vendors read that differently.
Yeah.
So that number could be good if it's high or could be good. Go look that up too, man. Oh, good times. Hey, man, when you cut it on, it doesn't work, then you got a problem. So... ninjas. The first thing I think about when I think about ninjas is soldering irons. And just my luck, there's a 40-watt portable USB-powered soldering iron for makers and professionals, compatible with Weller RT tips, you say. Yes, look at it. It's all pretty. It's got basically a vaporizer LCD display on it. And, well, why are we bringing it up? Well, there's a reason. This is allegedly going to be open source after commercialization. So after the product's done, it's baked, you're going to get all the 3D stuff, you're going to get all the software for the board, and you too can have a super pretty soldering iron. Yay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, those like shiny bits, they're just 3D printed resin plastic bits. That were painted, so you get to customize it however you'd like, I feel.
Well,
but it's Type-C.
The CNC stuff. Well, Type-C makes sense, though.
Yeah, it's a Type-C soldering iron. It's like, I might actually own a soldering iron now.
Type-C too.
It is cool, actually.
It'll plug into anything because you're charging the iron. You're not running directly off Type. Because my first thought was like, well, you can get, 70 watts off Type-C?
Yeah. And my recommendation to people is just don't plug it into the computer you're soldering, because I know that's probably going to happen. Someone's going to do that.
If you can run a safe pass-through to like a laptop that supports charging from the USB ports while the laptop is off, you might be able to get away with it.
If you're that
ThinkPad.
stupid, you deserve. It's kind of interesting. It'll be interesting if he makes it good on. He's like, hey man, I need to get this finished before I'm just going to start piecemealing the stuff I'm working on, and really saw that. And I was going to kind of try to get it out in one chunk, which I'm like, okay, fair enough. That'll be interesting. However, I don't know what you can, he's talking like, well, the Weller tips are great. True. I don't think this thing is going to be cheap, because it's going to be, it's going to something like we saw with like the Pandora, if it's a very boutique, small run, you got to keep that in mind, because you can get, out in my garage, I have a Weller digital station that I paid like $100 for. And that's a nice big piece of kit. And you can get something like this. You see this?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the El Cheapo that I picked up on site because mine died and I had to get something. I found this at a Radio Shack years ago for like $12. Still works.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, those are good ones.
No, they're not. They're horrible.
Well, their higher end ones are pretty good.
That's not what this one is. It's the $12 one. It heats up. You can melt lead solder with it. So that's that. We got 2 little slices of pie.
Yeah.
We do. Teeny tiny little bits of pie. And the first one, well, I know exactly what... No, that's the second one.
Wrong one. There we go.
Yeah, the first one, I know for a fact, I very much enjoyed it when I first saw it.
No, you probably do want to set that place on fire, man. PCIe multiplier, man. Pi 4 possibilities. Not really. I mean, all right, if you're listening, this is one of the like multi-PCIe expansion that converts it to the wiring over USB 3. It's just a hot mess of a nightmare. More importantly, do this outside because it's also a fire hazard. Because if you look at the end of that, look at all those little Molexes, like those 6 bins, plugged in.
4. If 4. It's Molex, it's 4.
1, 2, it might be 4. So 8. Don't. These things are 100% made out of nope. I don't suggest doing it. However, since you're going to do it anyway, keep in mind that's one of the things they ran into with Raspbian, because the kernel logically is set up for 1 PCIe, for the USB 3 on the Pi 4s. And, some entrepreneurs that are out there with like hot air flow stations, like, yeah, we've wired one up that kind of works. But if you're doing like multiple ones, it turns out that all you have to do is like change the PCI bus range. And according to the article on Hackaday, a little bit of professional wiggling.
A little bit. Yeah, basically, if you are, say, if the first thing you saw this is like, ooh, PCIe ports on a Raspberry Pi, graphics card. That was like my first idea, and then I scroll down and I see like the graphics card, and then that one's like, yes, just like that. But if you are going to plug in a graphics card, chances are you're probably going to be okay, because like throughput from the Pi to the graphics card, you could probably get away with it with a single PCIe lane. Probably.
Good luck getting those drivers.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. You have to compile your own NVIDIA drivers or Mesa. Yeah.
You can build the Mesa drivers with the Gallium driver on the Pi.
Have fun with
it. So that's true.
I don't see why not.
Go for it, buddy. You got it.
I just, where can I buy one of them?
eBay.
Probably.
They trust me, man. That looks like a higher end. Like that one's only like 80% sketchy.
Yeah.
I say this because I had to look into an NVMe M.2 to PCIe riser because we filled up a Threadripper, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're just not going to explore that option. There's ways because there's too many instances of products like this followed by caught on fire.
It's usually the Molex adapters.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of that.
Yeah.
So, Jill, tell me about the RISC-V.
So this is really cool. This is the Sipeed's Longan Nano RISC-V development board is now available in the Seed store for just $4.90. It's amazing. This little USB powered board has a tiny 160 by 80 IPS RGB LCD display, a micro SD slot, and comes with an acrylic case. And it's so cute. And both me and Foxdog in chat say squee. Oh, the possibilities. The possibilities for this board are limitless. And actually, my first thought was I would like to buy many of them and use them in an interactive animation art project in our school's art gallery. I think that would be really cool. Put some little black and white animations on those LCDs and make them interact.
Get a mosaic going. Ooh.
Yes, exactly.
You're going to have to learn to code for RISC, though.
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely. So, this is just a really cool board. And what's neat is it also can run Hawaii's Light OS and Archie Thread operating system, the real-time operating systems, little tiny ones, and just really, really cool. I was very excited about this when I first saw it on Reddit.
There is one thing I'll say about it. It is possibly the cheapest RISC-V board out there right now.
Exactly.
I think you gotta set your expectations accordingly, because 128K.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, this is like pocket chip level, but instead of ARM, it's RISC-V.
Yeah.
This is more like an Arduino with a screen.
Yeah.
Not poo-pooing on it, just be like, oh man, I can't wait to... You're not going to run anything on this. I mean, you can... This is a good tinker board. I think more embedded device.
Yeah, it is more embedded, yes.
Than anything like that. All right. Before we get out of here, we didn't get any... Well, we got some feedback. I got back to you, the person who sent me the feedback this week, and I didn't get a chance to check the YouTube comments yet, but if you would like to say something, how can you do that, Pedro?
You can do that very easily by going to Linux Gamecast Weekly. linuxgamecast.com. It's almost
Linux Gamecast Weekly.
You can just look up Linux Gamecast Weekly on Google.
187 shows.
But yes, there's a contact button that you can click, and it'll take you to a very nice forum that'll ask for your name, email, subject, and message. Be sure that your email will actually resolve. Nope. Otherwise, the spam bot goes, nope.
You know, that doesn't... Okay, it also doesn't help when I go back and look through the spam logs and you just try different variations of like a fake email address.
They were trying to be clever. Clearly, it didn't work.
Nah, I mean, it doesn't have to be yours, but come on. Like bob@aol.com, something like that.
bob@bob.com. Surprisingly, that one resolves.
Hey, that's kind of brilliant. And no ad breaks, all that. We are completely community funded by you, the beautiful people at home listening, helping us make all this fun stuff. If you'd like to kick into that and become one of those weird, strange, beautiful people, you can do that by heading over to patreon.com/LinuxGamecast. Get some rewards. Come say hi in Discord, and you get your own little custom RSS feed and some early access to things as, you know, a thank you from Old Man Vin and family. But we got a little thing. You can send us surprise gifts, because we got like the Amazon Wish thing up there, and every now and then, Pedro like shoots a family member.
Oh, yeah.
Every now and then,
Pedro. Oh, so Pedro sent this from my Wish Zone, and it's the Game Sire.
Oh, the buttons light up. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really pretty. That was another thing that drew me to it, and it has really nice joystick controls. And I love what Pedro said on the message. It was so cute. Full Metal Chinesium.
It is. Yes, it's a gamepad.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, inexpensive, but it's really great. It fits my hands. It's good for people with small hands.
Would you expect it to be made like Canada?
Oh.
I'm just saying, the DualShocks, they too are made in China, but they're nice.
Yeah.
Hey man, that's kind of brilliant. Thanks,
thank you, Pedro.
Showed up, tuning in live. If you're still watching this late, keep in mind, and we'll be back next week. Just linuxgamecast.com/live. If you're curious, just I know I'm going to get at least one non-ironic message, like, "Where's the show at? I've done nothing. All out of ideas. Can't find it." So, hey. You know what? Let's roll some credits, maybe. How about that?
Yeah.
Tis right around that time.
Yeah. Yay! A Linux Gamecast original series starring Ben Stone, Pedro Mateus, and me.
There you go.
Didn't think your plan all the way through, did you?
Thank you to our beautiful, beautiful executive producers and producers. We love you all. Oh boy, got so many amazing people out there donating their precious money to our Patreon. And
and it's okay if you can't, actually afford a Patreon or monetary or equipment donation.
At the end of the
share
day,
the show.
Thanks for watching.
yeah, share the show on Twitter, on Facebook.